to Bonaventure Sports Insider for our last episode for this year. I'm Brigid.
And I'm Jefrey Canova. And for today's episode, we have new segments for Bonnies Continental Drift and Calkins Corner with Aidan Calkins.
But first, I spoke with Matteo Lorenzato about what's at stake for the men's rugby team. As Bonaventure men's rugby prepares to face former Division I collegiate rugby champion Brown, senior captain Lorenzato knows just how much is at stake for him and the rest of the team.
Again, is the semi-final for the NCR Championship. So basically, it's the biggest game of the year so far. It's the fourth year in a row that we go there, and the third year in a row that we play Brown. So it's a very exciting game. Lost once, won one. So we know the team. So it's very exciting weekend.
Lorenzato has a lot of experience under his belt. He knows what it feels like to be under pressure and is up for the challenge.
Third year here, so I've lost the semi-final my first year. I've won it last year, so I know I know the feeling for both winning or losing. So the pressure's more on the younger guys, but I feel the older guys are just like reassuring them, like telling them not to worry too much.
But there's another motivating factor pushing the team to keep winning and get back on the top of the league.
And get back on top of the league, because we've been working so hard for the past year, and I think our coach Aidan deserves it too for his first season as a head coach.
For this team, it's all about staying focused when the stakes are high.
To get the boys to stay focused, we know that we're a good team too, that we can win this game. We've beaten them before. Just trying to stay cool, be confident in ourselves, and just play our game.
The Bonnies will play at 1 p.m. at Penn State Berks.
Our Kyle Myers spoke with three-time Paralympic gold medalist and former U.S. Army veteran about his trip to St. Bonaventure. Let's take a look.
Before three-time Paralympic gold medalist Rico Roman represented his country on the ice, he served it overseas with the United States Army. And on his third tour in Iraq, Roman's life changed forever.
I was injured overseas due to an IED, an improvised explosive device. In other words, a nasty big bomb. And I injured my left leg, ultimately becoming an above-knee amputee.
Veteran Services brought Roman to campus to tell his story to the Bonaventure community. Roman unexpectedly fell in love with sled hockey while trying to adapt to his new life.
Being injured and separated from my fellow veterans, it was tough. And so to have that locker room and to play on an all-veteran team and to compete and have fun and kind of fill out this new life of being an amputee.
After not making the 2010 Paralympics roster, Roman became determined to earn a spot on the national team.
I watched film, I lifted weights, I put on the Rocky movie, chopped wood, did tons of cross-training playing wheelchair basketball, and then I went back out there and I got a spot on the team.
Competing in the Paralympics helped Roman prove to himself he could overcome any obstacle in his way.
It's amazing, and to be able to represent my country wearing the red, white, and blue, knowing I'm from the city I'm from, and knowing that, maybe looking back at it like being an amputee and could I do this or would I be able to compete?
Roman shares a message to anyone facing tough times.
Give yourself that time to understand that, it's going to work out. Maybe in that moment when you're hurt, when you feel like giving up, it's easy to do that, but it's that feeling uncomfortable, it's that knowing you're going to get better and willing to put in the work is where you drive and become the person you want to be.
Now, we will pass it to Aidan Calkins to see what he has to say about Bonnies hockey. Aidan?
Hello everybody and welcome back to Calkins Corner with me, Aidan Calkins. I spoke with Bonnies forward Michael Clouden about his season so far, but first let's look at our scoring recap. Bonnies took on Farmingdale State 2 weeks ago in a 3-game set. The Bonnies took game 1 6-0 as Carson Schlager recorded a hat trick and Kyle Karolewski recorded a shutout. Bonnies dropped game 2 1-0 to the Rams. Now let's take a look at Bonnies forward Michael Clouden.
Michael Clouden is a forward for St. Bonaventure's D1 hockey team. Clouden is off to a torrid start, scoring 26 points through 13 games this year. Clouden attributes his early season success to chemistry of his line mates.
As my line, we're doing pretty well together. We've been playing together for a while, so we have a lot of chemistry on that line, so I believe that is a big contribution to the success I've been having.
From day one, Clouden was a hockey player.
Kind of what I always did. I mean, I don't know if I was like woke up one day and was like, oh, I want to play hockey. It's just kind of like born into it.
Clouden modeled his play style after former Buffalo Sabres forward Derek Roy and uses his number 9 after him.
I like Derek Roy a lot growing up. So, I mean, I'm number 9, he's number 9, so kind of the reason why for that.
Clouden chose Bonnies after seeing his friends come here.
The kids that I've been playing with were going here, and I was kind of lost in the process, so I just decided I'll come here too, play with them, and so it's a good decision.
As Clouden looks to continue his All-American early season, the Bonnies take on Niagara this Friday.
That's all from me on Calkins Corner. Over to you, Brigid and Jeff.
Thanks, Aidan. Bonnies Continental Drift will travel from Brazil to South Africa.
That's right, Brigid. I had the opportunity to speak with Bonnies women's tennis player Isabel Ventura, who shared about her roots from South Africa.
In this second edition of Bonnie Sports Insider Continental Drift, we will be flying into the second continent of this series, Africa. I had the opportunity to speak with Bonnie's women's tennis player, Isabella Venture. Halfway into her junior year, Isabella shared how she has adapted from living in the bustling city of Johannesburg, South Africa, to the student-athlete life in the rural community surrounding St. Bonaventure.
When did you decide that you wanted to become a tennis player?
Well, I started playing tennis when I was 5. It wasn't anything serious at the start, but eventually I just really started to love the sport, and I started playing school tennis quite a lot. And then at the age of 13, I knew I wanted to play college tennis in America. By age 16, I started playing international tournaments, and I was lucky enough to make the national schools team. And it was just a great way for me to travel, meet new people, and tennis has always been that for me.
Yeah, and some of those tournaments that you participated in when you were like 15 and 16 allowed you to kind of visit the iconic arena in which the Wimbledon tournament takes place. For you as a young player, how did that moment feel for you of just being in the presence of that arena?
I think being at Wimbledon for the first 2 days of the tournament was the most amazing experience, because at that time all the players are still there and you can see them practicing, you can see them playing on all the courts, so it's not just the big courts, you can see all the players on the back courts as well, and it was just amazing being in that atmosphere. And we also had tickets to court 2, so I saw Venus Williams play against Coco Gauff, who's now my favorite tennis player, and it was just amazing to see and just feel what they're going through and how competitive it is.
Yeah, and who were some of those players that you took pictures with?
I took pictures with Caroline Wozniacki and Alexander Zverev. I also got pictures with Kevin Anderson, who's the best player that has ever come from South Africa. So he was really, we had a South African flag, and he was really happy to see us, so that was also really cool.
You're a junior here at St. Bonaventure University. I wanted to ask, what kind of brought you to the U.S. and really just mainly St. Bonaventure as well?
College tennis is very big in America, and I think as a competitive tennis player coming from South Africa, college tennis is just a great opportunity to keep playing competitive tennis and also getting a degree while being here. I chose St. Bonaventure because of the competitive conference that it's in and all the good schools that we get to play.
And for any player, challenges are bound to happen. For you, coming from South Africa, what were some of the challenges that you have encountered?
I think the biggest challenge was adapting to the culture. It was definitely harder than I expected it to be. I'm definitely settled now. I've made amazing friends that helped with the transition. But yes, I think adapting to the culture and the small town was a bit difficult at the start.
Talking to your parents can be such a challenge because of the time zones. How did you overcome that?
Yes, it's just about planning, because by the time I wake up, they've already had most of their day, so it's hard to find a time, especially because both of our schedules are really busy, to find a time that works. But it's just about, setting aside an hour once a week to just have some good quality time over a video call or something like that.
So Isabella, this whole tennis team is filled with international players. 12 out of the 15 play from outside the U.S. I wanted to ask, How have you been able to kind of connect with your teammates, and how have they kind of been also helping you just kind of adapt to the community here and also play tennis as well?
I think it's amazing that I have the opportunity to play with people from so many different countries. It's been really great getting to know them, getting to know their cultures, and going through the same thing. We're all international students adapting to life in America, and it's been really helpful having them going through the same thing. We can relate to things, support each other. It's honestly been a great experience.
Yeah, and last season you finished in doubles with a 10-3 record and 3-4 record in singles. What are your aspirations for yourself and for your team for this coming spring season?
We've been playing really strong doubles as a team the last few months and last year. So I would really like us to get our singles to that level as well, because I know we can. We have a tough schedule this coming season, but it's a great opportunity to play against good players and get better.
My final question for today, and I'll plan to ask this to all players, where do you see yourself after St. Bonaventure?
After St. Bonaventure, I would really like to do my postgrad at London School of Economics. That's a dream of mine. Or work for a year here or wherever there's an opportunity. And then eventually I'd like to go back home.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for this interview. I appreciate it. What we do with every Bonnies players, international Bonnies players here, just get the signature of any piece of equipment from their sport. Do you mind signing the ball real quick for this?
Sure.
Thank you for watching this year's last episode of Bonaventure Sports Insider. We hope you all have a happy holidays. I'm Brigid.
And I'm Jefrey Canova. We'll see you all next year.